I did make a presentation. It's going to maybe be up in a bit. I worked hard on it. I made it in Keynote. Everyone else made it in Google Present. Oh, Comic-Con Keynote. There we go. And that's my name, and that's today. We have a laser pointer, and you can go backwards. Oh, and we can go forwards, but can we go backwards? Oh, wow, we can go backwards and forwards. That's pretty cool. So we'll start at the beginning. This is me about 5 years ago. See a Bitcoin mug. I wish I bought more Bitcoin back then. That's the comma UI up on the screen. You can see we're detecting lane lines and kind of making it work. It's still the Engage logo from Star Trek. This was the original comma system. It's been a long 5 years. Had I known what this would have ended up being, I probably never would have done it, to be honest. Starting a company is absolute hell. But when you start out with things, you don't know this, right? Go into a full tilt, right? There we go, man. Comma AI on the back of an Acura ILX, license plate, right? Fuel on, man. It just means like keep the gas going, bro. Or F you, we put this together and you go for it. It's like, yo, let's go to the Silicon Valley VCs, man. I was watching that show, Silicon Valley. That's why it's called comma. Hey, if we're not having a good time, there's really no point in doing this. So this is the original comma team. Out at an event, self-racing cars. This was 2016, and a lot of the companies back then were way more honest and open. I think that this self-driving space is incredibly sad. I said this back in 2016. We are going to win self-driving cars. Still kind of holds true. Because, I don't like losing. Why do you keep doing it, right? There's no point. There's nothing you can buy with money. There's no amount of I live a nice life. But I like winning. And I want to win, so that's why we're here. And I appreciate that you all came out. I remember before this TechCrunch disrupt, I was talking to my sister, and I was saying what I really want to do is get up on stage, pull my pants down, and take a shit. No, really, because there's no other way. How do you compete when everybody's just lying? And so I'm like, all right, we're going to go completely over the top with it. This is all you need to solve self-driving cars. Look, it's in a neon green, it's a phone in a neon green case. It's kind of a joke, but it's kind of not. I think most of you have used that phone to drive a car, right? It's kind of a joke, kind of not. Well, Nishta wasn't in on the kind of a joke, so I'm like, you know what? Canceled, no comma 3. Sorry, no comma, whoa. No comma 1. The comma 1 was canceled. Alex Roy wrote this article. He got a test drive in the car with the comma 1, and the canceled comma 1 would have embarrassed the car industry. Prediction, there will be a comma 2. Well, this was in October. 1 month later, we released OpenPilot open source. Really, all the ideas start to come together. It's like, we're going to be the Android of self-driving cars. If Tesla's the iOS, we're going to be the Android. So this is OpenPilot 1.0. You can see it has a lot less directories. I didn't think I knew how to put pictures and readmes back then. We figured it out. It's pretty nice now if you go to OpenPilot on GitHub. And as for Alex Roy's prediction, well, the open source software included the Neo. How many of you had Neos? All right, we got a few Neo people out there. How many of you had Eons? All right, and then how many of you have comma 2s? All right, nice to see. So it took a little bit for Alex Roy's prediction to come true, but we did ship a comma 2, and it did embarrass the car industry. This is Consumer Reports. If you guys didn't see it, OpenPilot is good. You know how I know OpenPilot is good? Like I said, I don't do this for money. I'm rich. I used to drive a Mercedes S-Class. What other car are you going to buy, right? But if you ask me today, would I rather have a Mercedes S-Class or a Hyundai Sonata with a comma 2? I think that one's actually better. Right? Like, that's how I know it's good. How much more does that car cost than that car? Even with the, egregious price of $10.99. Wow, these things are priced way too cheap. We got to raise the prices. What does it mean to be good? Right, so what's our slogan? Make driving chill. So we like to say the Tesla slogan is, look at this crazy feature. I mean, again, maybe it appeals to a different kind of audience, but what does it mean to be good? Does it mean things like turning right at an intersection? Well, not really, because you just don't turn right that much in your drives. It happens every once in a while, but it's not that bad to do, and I've been in demos where the car's made autonomous right turns. It's stressful. It's stressful watching that wheel fly in front of your face. You're like, do I touch it? Do I not touch it? Is it going to do it? I don't know. I'm stressed out, right? Our slogan is make driving chill. So it's not things like this. It's things like this. So if you look coming up to that exit, you can see that the lanes widen. And what almost every manufacturer lane keep does is it places you in the middle of those two lanes. And you have an okay time right up until you get to the fork. Right? So what it should do is if you're going left, it should hug the left, and if you're going right, it should hug the right. But this stuff is really hard to program in ways that are reliable and repeatable. And you saw some of this in Harold's presentation about okay, let's say there was a dashed line there, right? It's just, there's so many variations. And what makes a system good isn't the crazy things that it can do, but it's the things that it can do over and over again, repeatedly and well. That's what chill means to me. So, yeah, that's what it means to be good. I remember I was 2008. It's like the nights of Whoppers. I would drive to Burger King and go get Whoppers. That's my sister if she wanted to come and go to Burger King. And we're just talking about things. And I tell her, it's impossible to make a computer recognize whether there's a chair in an image or not. This is a task that a 5-year-old can do. And in 2008, computers just couldn't do this. And it was because they were using a lot of this sort of stuff. They'd run something like a Harris corner detector, detect corners, compute some orb descriptors, and then come up with some hacky definition of what a chair was based on some weird nearest neighbors thing, maybe. It just doesn't work, right? So how do you actually detect chairs in images? This is a trivial problem. I think even a 5-year-old can write the code to do it now. Import torch magic vision. Torch magic vision.predict, and there you go. And the way that this, of course, works is they took lots and lots of images, and they labeled where the chairs were. And then they trained a neural net, which uses this algorithm called backpropagation, to improve the weights or the program that's actually detecting the chair. The program is learned. The program is not hand-coded. Now, you say, no, but Waymo learned this lesson, right? They're not doing the stuff on the left, they're doing the stuff on the right. Right? They're getting neural nets which put boxes around cars. They're fully deep learned. Yeah, but can these people think a little higher in abstraction space? What's the meta lesson here? Right? For the task of prediction, it's end-to-end, but the task of prediction is not the task of driving, right? It's unclear how you go from prediction to driving. Why is this lesson still not learned, and why are these companies hiring cone guys? Well, really, right? You're gotta dive into the taxonomy of cones. You have small cones, you have large cones. What does it mean if a cone is squished? What about the big cones like this? What about the thing outside with the, is that a cone? I don't know. Got to hire the cone guy for that, right? So yeah, the lesson's really not learned. One of the things we say at Comma, one of the questions we ask all the time is, will this be in the final system? I find that people are like, by the way, we're proud level 2 at Comma. We're proud level 2 for 2 reasons. One, because the higher levels don't say anything about capability. They only talk about liability, and we don't want liability, obviously. But you don't want things higher than level 2 either. Do you want to tell the machine what to do, or do you want the machine to tell you what to do? right? What the higher levels mean is you're no longer in charge. You're no longer driving the car. And like, some people might be okay with this. Like, I'm not. I prefer that machines work for me and that I don't work for machines, which is kind of, but that's long and philosophical. But, we're level 2 forever. But there's no reason that a level 2 driving agent should not be a superhuman driver. There's no limit to it. It's like, well, it can't be too good. It's only level 2. No way. So we always ask the question when we're building something, and you saw this morning with the end-to-end stuff. It's like, will this be in the final system? So this is a real story from a secret internal source at that company. They had these cars, and they were driving this little loop around Pittsburgh. And they really got the loop working well. In the winter, it could drive the loop most of the time without a disengagement. But in the winter, well, the bike racks looked like this, right? And the car drove by fine on the street, and it was all good. But then spring came, and the system stopped working. The system stopped finishing the same loop that it could do in winter. And they checked all their HD maps, and they were all good. It wasn't a localization issue. The bike rack didn't look like this. The bike rack looked like this. Now, if you're trying to build a system that individually picks out each bike, then runs a complicated prediction model on what that bike is going to do, how big is your computer? This, of course, isn't how humans do it at all, right? Humans just look at those things and they're like, oh, it's a bunch of bikes in a rack. So, well, what did Uber end up doing? They put that area in the map as an area with a bike rack, and they said, don't detect any bicycles in that area. We all know. All right, we won't talk anymore about that, but will this be in the final system is a real question, and a hand-coded, this is a bike rack, don't detect any bikes in this area, would never be in any sane final superhuman driving system. Another question we ask is this how a human does it, right? So when we think about, we're trying to do some task, we think, hey, let's think about how a human does it, because humans are the only implementation of driving today. People talk about how humans are bad drivers. Humans are so much better than every self-driving car out there, available or not available today. Do you know how I know that? Because the second that flips, everything's going to be self-driving. But we're nowhere near there yet, right? So people are like, oh, humans crash cars. Humans almost never crash cars. I saw a good graph. I probably should have put it in here. It was a pie chart of during your commute, how many times you crash. And it was 1,000 times, no crash. Maybe one time crash, maybe. Maybe 1,000,000 times no crash, one time crash. Humans crash cars very rarely. So there's only one safe policy for driving. And it's not just ask how a human does it, because a human probably does it in a good way. Everybody in self-driving understands that you want to build systems that are capable of predicting what the cars around you will do. But you do understand that humans are running that exact same algorithm. Humans are trying to predict what all the other cars will do. And they're assuming implicitly that humans are driving them. So driving with an inhuman policy is dangerous, right? You can say, oh yeah, but technically you rear-ended me, you have the liability. Yeah, but if you slammed on your brakes in the middle of a highway, you can make that argument, but you still crashed. There's only one safe policy for driving, and that's the human policy, assuming you want to interoperate on roads with other humans. Now you're going to get some wacko utopian people who are like, we're going to replace all the humans with bug people, and we'll put the bug people in the cars, and the bug people will drive according to these very, very rigid rules, but this is, well, I don't know. I like driving. Take it away. Right? There's only one safe policy for driving, and that's the human policy. This is our mission: solve self-driving cars while delivering shippable intermediaries. A cool test that I like to use about whether somebody is saying something is ask the question of what else they might be saying, right? Does the opposite of this make any sense? If some politician gets on the stage and says, we care about the children, could you ever imagine a politician getting on a stage and saying, well, the children aren't that important to us? No, of course not. So what's in this mission is very clear about what we have to do, but it's also clear about what we're not trying to do. We're not trying to deliver a return to our investors. Sorry, investors. We're not trying to aggrandize ourselves with self-importance by throwing big events with lots and lots of people. Wait. No, we're here to have a good time too, but fundamentally, this is the goal of our company, right? And it makes it very easy for everybody to be aligned. The amount of political, how are we winning? If you believe we're winning, how are we winning? What are these other companies doing wrong? And they understand some technical stuff wrong, but I think they also understand some philosophical stuff wrong. This is our company mission: solve self-driving cars while delivering shippable intermediaries. And that brings me to the next slide, business. So Comma is a business. That is our goal, and that is the mission of the business. But Comma is a business, and we do have to operate in the business world. This is a quote from my self-driving, my 100x investment blog post. It's so sad. It's really so sad how, yeah. And it's because business selects for psychopathy. Maybe you guys saw the Nikola founder was indicted. Yeah, you know, he told the world that his truck fully worked, but actually what he did was he tilted the camera a little, towed the truck to the top of a hill, and had it roll down and didn't put a motor in it, right? Even boomers understand that's a scam, right? So, you know, it's always nice to see that, but it's these scams that are much more intricate that you don't exactly, you know, it's not exactly clear to point to the scam, but when you just look at a company that's raised $10 billion and has no revenue and now is like, we're going to do an IPO. Like, it went from companies aren't profitable to companies don't have revenue to companies don't have users. Right? So, I promise this is the downer part of the talk. The stuff that I really like talking about is coming up. So the fundamentals of us as a business, we've raised $8.1 million. We've made $9 million in revenue. The next milestone here is to have over $8.1 million in assets, and the next milestone after that is to have over $8.1 million in cash. Because then undoubtedly we've created something, right? And I like that. I like that from a business perspective. Like, figure out how to, you know, make money. We sold 5,000 comma 2s. This is now the majority funding source of the company. And it's great because we're aligned with you. Comma wants the same things you do. We want OpenPilot to be better. You want OpenPilot to be better. We want to build better products. You want us to build better products. This is the beauty of capitalism when it works, right? It's like you have 3,500 weekly active users. This is a wild statistic in the context of how many we've sold. Over 50% of every piece of hardware we've sold is still being used every week. The only thing that I know that competes with that is like appliances and mobile phones. This beats laptops, this beats game consoles, and this crushes virtual reality headsets. The average use for a virtual reality headset, the average number of times people use a virtual reality headset is 1. Right? 50% still in use over a 3-year, we've sold about 2,000 Eons. So it's over 50% still in use. These are our Shopify numbers. I challenge other businesses out there to start doing this. Post a screenshot from Shopify. You can see our sales going up. You can see our average order value is going up, and you can see our total orders are going up. Average order value is an important one that I like because these things are going to get more expensive as they get better. A lot of companies, if you're really talking about the kind of smash and grab approach or like the exit scam you see in a lot of companies, what they'll do with their hardware pricing is they'll price it very high at the beginning, capture the early adopters' money who'll pay whatever they want, and then lower the price over time. I'm not doing that. We price it, and then we raise the price, and we've done that with every release. You know, the comma 2 went up a little bit in price. So yeah, the order value goes up over time, but we also think the value that OpenPilot delivers has gone up over time. Would you guys agree? Yeah. These are weekly devices by type. So you can see our weekly active users is about the 3,500 we talked about. One of the things that I like here is this yellow line here is the comma 2. So most of our users are on Comma 2s, which to me signifies that we've actually delivered enough of a better experience for people to upgrade. We did sadly deprecate the original Eon, but we offered free trades to everybody. Just pay shipping to Eon Golds if you wanted to stick on the old system. We do want to support this stuff for as long as we feasibly can. But remember, I'm not a No Child Left Behind guy. I'm a gifted program guy. So, we do want to push the high end, and we especially want to push the experience for, all the majority, right? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's a Vulcan quote. We are comfortably in control of our own destiny. This is nice. This took some time. We're not IPOing. We're definitely not speccing. We're not selling out to bankers. I'm the majority shareholder. I'm the sole board member, and I am 100% committed to the company mission. I've never sold a share. My salary is $78,000 a year. I don't care. It doesn't really matter, right? And this is an important thing to realize, right? Like, I think about how good my life is. I live in a beautiful apartment in downtown San Diego, and my life is good because I have things like HVAC. You're the king of France, you couldn't get HVAC. You could order all your minions, build me an HVAC system, and they'd be like, oh, want to invade Poland? What? So we're comfortably in control of our own destiny, and we are committed to making better and better technology every year. Why don't we work with car companies? We get this question a lot, and sometime I'll give some flippant answer about how they're hard to work with. But there was always just something that never sat right, and I think I can put some good business terms on it now since this is the business section. So this is the gross margin in automotive. It's 18%. Automotive is mostly you're going to grind out for these little margins. The dealers take their cut. It's a very protected industry. That's look at Tesla trying to get their direct-to-consumer model working. The dealerships are protecting their little cut. And you don't want to be in a place where everybody's fighting over a small piece of the pie. You want to be in a place where a large pie benefits everybody. You want to be in a space where the gross margin is high because it gives you room to experiment and have fun and build cool things. So the gross margin in automotive is 18%. The gross margin in consumer electronics, 58%. We're an aspiring consumer electronics company. No, this isn't Comma's transitory business model. Look, we're not going to be selling dev kits forever. But, let's talk about our total addressable market. More business terms, you guys. We support over 130 cars. That's over 50% of all new cars sold in the US. In numbers, that's about 8 million compatible cars per year. There's about 25 million potential existing users. This is in the US alone. That's 0.02 market penetration to date. We have a huge addressable market. Right? Is it always going to be a dev kit that you self-install, that you have to know what a Panda is? No. It's going to be a consumer electronics product. It's going to be let's just say, if we build this, I can easily see a 1 million devices per year market. That's 5% market penetration. That's nothing. At a minimum of $1,000 each, you guys know what 1,000 times a million is, right? Yeah. I'm bringing back an old Comma slogan. We're going to be so rich. We also briefly made Comma gym wear, like a tank top. It said, we're going to be so ripped. This was a good pitch to the investors, but it's kind of true. Comma is defining the next device class of consumer electronics. Right? The smartphone, the tablet, the portable media player, the laptop, right? The advanced driver assistance system. I don't know if there's a better name for it, but we want to be the Android. I don't want to be the only company building this hardware. OpenPilot's open source. I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see a ton of these things start to pop up because the total addressable market is huge. The potential for profit is huge. And like I said, our company mission is to solve self-driving cars. The more people we got thinking about this stuff, the more people who want to, it's not working with us, right? It's not a partnership, it's not a sketchy backroom deal. It's like, here's who we are. Come play in this beautiful ecosystem. We're paving the way for you, right? Maybe one of you out there is making, action cameras or some again, there's another consumer electronics device class, right? Build an OpenPilot compatible device. Let's live in a world where there's 10 of these to choose from, right? And I've seen a few cool things. I'll give a shout out to Blue Box. They launched a Kickstarter. I think their device is a little too cheap and a little underpowered, but it's the right idea. I'd love to see a world where you can, just like Android phones, you can pick from a whole lot of these to choose from. All right. That's the business section. Now the stuff that I like talking about. I told you to get more upbeat. That's a picture from a Comma 2. You know what question I get asked all the time? George, how are you going to solve self-driving cars with one camera? Well, this is the Comma 2 camera, and it's pretty good. You can pretty much see what to do on that road. But what if there's a car next to you and it's a little hard to make out what's going on in the distance? So no, the Comma 2, now we can say it, the Comma 2 is not good enough to build a level 5 self-driving car out of. I hope you all knew this, right? It's a driver assistance system, but we do want to get better. Like I said, we're not stopping. Oh, they're going to stop. Comma AI only does highway. Do it all. There's no distinction. But we are going to need more cameras. Who's ready to count? One. Two. Three. Man, I always wanted to do one of these, you know? All right. So this is the Comma 3. You guys can see a few changes. It's nice and slim. The display is stunning. I don't want to talk about how much I'm paying for those displays. It's more than the whole Lego. You can see navigation on the right. You see the basics of the OpenPilot interface on the left. You can see down here we have, this is an 185-degree lens, infrared. These are the same two infrared LEDs that are on the Comma 2, so you get that same great nighttime driver monitoring. This is what the device looks like from the back. Yes, we finally made injection molded cases. They look nice. You'll see that we have two eyes, but not for binocular, not for stereo vision. Stereo vision at long distances is relatively useless, although this does exceed the human baseline, so if any of you, we're wrong, we got the stereo, we got the hardware for stereo. In here, again, like I said, it's useless, but what it is useful for is you can see the two cameras on the back have different lenses. So that's a 185-degree lens on the right, and that's like a 45-degree lens on the left, so you can see objects that are really far away. Speaking of the cameras, they're really good. 1080p. Oh, but George, the Eon has a 16 megapixel sensor. And it does, so why is this only 1080p? The Eon's lens can resolve about 0.5 megapixels. It's not about how many megapixels you shoved into your sensor. It's about how many you can reasonably use and resolve. This sensor has, what's the benefits of less pixels? Look, I'm paying a lot for these sensors. I could put a 16 megapixel sensor in there, but you're not going to get better pictures. Your picture quality has a lot to do with how good your lens is and how good how big your pixels are, right? Bigger pixel, more light equals less noise. So yeah, these are there. You can also see that the lenses are fixed focus. So one of the big problems with the Comma 2 data is it's kind of blurry, especially when you're like braking hard or when the way that it works is the lens is on this tiny spring, and then you have like a piezo, a little like actuator to press on the lens. Here we don't have any of these. We focus these at the factory at infinity. The depth of field is plenty to capture everything you need. Woo! All right. So about 1080p, 120 dB of high dynamic range. So that's up from 85 in the Comma 2. 285-degree lenses for full 360-degree coverage. Yes, we can see all the way around the car. Narrow cam for far away. The human eye actually doesn't have sensors equally distributed throughout the eye. You have a center of the eye called the fovea, which is a very dense area. Digital sensors aren't like this. Digital sensors are in grids. But you can mimic this by using two cameras. And that's why the device has two cameras on the back. It has a fovea, and it has a outside the fovea. I'm sure there's a word. Some optometrists would know. It's an AR0231 automotive sensor. There is a 0233. You cannot buy it. This is the best sensor you can buy. It's 2 generations ahead of Tesla's. Let's take a look at some pictures. This is me and Alex chilling on the 5. Look at the upper left. You can really see, look at that road texture that we're now capturing. Full 360, you can see that down here, you can see that front pillar. We didn't consider this when we did the balloons. Don't pop the balloons. Yeah, you can see, the driver monitoring. Captures a whole lot more, so there's no more fiddling with your device to like aim it in the right sort of way to make sure it sees your face. It always sees your face. It even sees whether your hands are on the wheel. Oh, by the way, it also sees next to your car, right? So if there's like a semi next to you, we see it now. We see everything. This is its performance at night. Yeah. That's what those big pixels get you. Look at how in the narrow picture you can't even see that car right there. The gamma curve on this, I don't know about the gamma curve on this screen. It seems pretty harsh, but you can easily make out that car on a computer screen. So that means the net can as well. Driver monitoring at night with that infrared. Yeah, nighttime pictures. It's not a cell phone. We used 0 cell phone part. Well, I mean, it depends what you mean. We used a Snapdragon 845. Qualcomm's chips are half the price and more performant than NVIDIA's. A lot of people don't use Qualcomm because the software is nowhere near as, there's no easy SDK to use Qualcomm. So the Snapdragon 845 uses a completely different camera. The hardware is completely changed from the 820. Yeah, we reverse engineered that one too. It's in Camera 2 in OpenPilot. So it's great that we can use the Qualcomm chips, and we plan to stick with Qualcomm really all the way till the end. Wi-Fi and global LTE connectivity, so it has the same connectivity as a cell phone. Of course, that works with Comma Prime. It's got Wi-Fi. It has Bluetooth too. We don't really test it, so well, what good is Bluetooth? But no, I'm sure the Bluetooth works. We did test the antennas. We got this device FCC approved. The device has an FCC ID. 2160 by 1080 OLED display. No more issues with sunglasses. And did you polarize it diagonally? No, it's not polarized. It's an OLED. I hear it actually might still be polarized, but it works great with sunglasses. No, the display is really stunning. And, you guys know the beauty of OLED. The blacks are actually black. There's no bleed. There's no local dimming. There's nothing like that. It's actually we went above and beyond. I should have included the video. We calibrated each OLED display. Like we had all this code to calibrate the camera for colors. And it was pretty easy to also just do the display. So every display that goes through our factory, we put a little camera on top of it and calibrate it to have the exact same color response as every other Comma 3. I believe even Apple doesn't do that. Apple, you can, and Apple's very good about this. Apple has some of the best displays in the industry, but we actually take the time to calibrate it. That's the cool thing about having 58% gross margins. We can do things like this that are just kind of, above and beyond. Another thing that's above and beyond. We put a real gaming SSD in there. Like why not? It's almost the same price per gigabyte as SD cards. But why would we use a crappy little, did you buy a class 7 or a class 9? No, we bought a Samsung 980 NVMe SSD. You guys will see, we have some interior pictures coming up. High precision GPS, same one as the Comma 2. And OBDC port, same as the Comma 2. The harnesses are compatible. So it's the exact same harness. If you do buy a Comma 3, you do not need to buy another harness. It has a right angle cable. The cable's a bit nicer, but that's included in the box, so you don't need to buy a harness if you're upgrading from a Comma 2. It also has a USB 3.1 Gen 2 port. So finally, we have real expansion capabilities on this device. You're actually going to be hearing, we already have one expansion device being also maybe announced later. This USB port is capable of streaming out the entire sensorium of the device. So the 5 gigabits of bandwidth would allow us to stream all the cameras in full resolution if, say, we wanted to attach an external, GTX 3090 to it to run some really huge models. Also, just because it only cost $1, that's also a display port, so you can connect it to a big screen. Some of you guys want the Comma screen? You can do it. You're going to have to get the Weston and a little software, but the hardware works. So yeah. This is the front of the motherboard. You can see this is the 845 SOM. We have a heatsink which sits on top of that. One of the problems with cell phones, the Comma 2 runs hot. The Comma 2, it's very hard. So the processor on the Comma 2 faces the screen. In a cell phone, it's really hard to deal with heat because the only place really to dump that heat would be in the user's hand. So they try to dump it out the screen, but it doesn't work that well. It's glass, it's not metal. No one would make a glass heatsink. So we can put the heatsink right on top of the memory, which is right on top of the processor. But in the stress test, the Comma 2s get up to 90 degrees Celsius. In the stress test for the Comma 3, which is when we run it at full tilt, they range between like 60 and 65. So they run 25 to 30 degrees Celsius colder at full power than the Comma 2. And it's because we can shove the heatsink right on there. We'll get to this in a minute. There's still a little Android in the device, but we keep it in that metal box there. We keep all the Android in there. Don't worry, there's a cover on it. It holds the Android in. It's the only way to get an LTE modem. We stuck a great LTE modem. That's the global edition. We've done some speed tests. You're getting, I think I've seen it up to like 80 megabytes a second, 80 megabits a second. It's LTE and it's good. Part of the reason it's good also is, a cell phone has these like crappy little antennas that have to go through your hand. We have 2 big antennas on either side, with ground planes behind this, and users not touching it. So the LTE reception is great. That's the front of the motherboard. This is the USB 3.1 port. This is the OBDC port. There's a daughter board which sticks on top of here that I don't have a picture of. It has supercapacitors on it. So you have about 5 seconds of power after you pull the thing. This lets us write the logs to disk in a safe way. It also gives us time to alarm if the device does immediately lose power. So it's the best of both worlds. It's not a battery, it's a capacitor. And you still get some power after. If say your car catastrophically loses 12 volts, you still have some, you don't immediately kill the device. So yeah, that sits right on top of there. There's a speaker also. I should have gotten pictures of it. 2 digital microphones. You know, maybe they're like little people. 2 eyes, 2 ears, a mouth, a brain, an LTE radio. Well, this is the back. There's that NVMe. That's the display connector. Underneath there is the IR LED driver. This is a Panda. So you guys know what the Panda in the Comma 2 was called, right? Does anyone know the code name? The Uno. This one's the DOS. That's a DOS. You got a SIM card right here, RTC battery, audio codecs, sourcing for these things. You know, if you guys know about the pandemic sourcing and like we got it. But yeah, these were one of the parts that was tricky to get. OpenPilot at launch. If you guys have been watching the code base, this is TC. It's already better than the Comma 2 with 087. And this is for 2 reasons. It's not due to training. We've barely trained on any Comma 3s, but the fixed focus of the camera means that it never goes blurry, and the processor is 8 cores instead of 4 cores, so every OpenPilot process practically has its own core. So your timings are much more consistent, your focus is a lot better, so OpenPilot is already a better experience out of the box. Agnos, a great new operating system, no more NeoS, it's Ubuntu 2004 based. apt-get just works. I did on one of these devices. I'm like, how did that work? Don't we have the system partition mounted read-only? And like the reply on Slack is like, no, we added a hook. It mounts it read-write, and then it lets you apt-get something, and then it mounts it read-only again. I'm like, that's so nice. This is like a nice development environment. This is a Ubuntu 2004 computer. As far as I know, we're the first company to ship a Qualcomm device with Linux. And Navigation Alpha is ready. That's not a mock. This is the whole reason we built Comma Prime. You think I wanted to deal with carrier I can't name and sign a contract to like resell? No, but we got to ship navigation to you guys. I mean, you need navigation if you want to solve level 5 self-driving or superhuman self-driving or anything, no liability. And you know what? I'll be honest about how good the navigation is, right? So if you kind of rank these like CarPlay, Android Auto, how many of you use that for navigation? And most of you, it's pretty nice, right? Then maybe sometimes you'll rent a car and you'll use phone and cup holder navigation. And then sometimes you use the, actually I don't know, you'll never use the built-in OEM navigation. You'll always use the phone and cup holder, right? The Comma 3 nav is better than phone and cup holder. And then once we do ship Navigate on OpenPilot, I think then maybe we can jump that. But there's no way to jump that right now. It is. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's better than CarPlay, but it's a very usable experience, more so than your phone and a cup holder. You'll be hearing more about this in the next presentation. Want to stand up? Everyone who was in EPOT? I think 7 of the EPOT people made it out here. These people have had the device for 4 months. They've been testing it. They've given us feedback. We went through 2 revisions. I now release you from your NDA. So feel free to talk about your honest experience with the device. Is it perfect? No, but a lot of the bugs are software. And it's now it's good. 4 months ago, it was kind of meh. 6 months ago, maybe 50% of the time it would work. Now, we don't even have Comma 2s in the car anymore. You guys saw, maybe some of you saw on the stream, our leaked user admin screen where all the cars had Comma 3s. So this device has been tested in the field for months. We've done way more testing on this than we did on the Comma 2. We also ported over all our factory test infrastructure from the Comma 2 to the Comma 3. So these devices all, for example, have a 24-hour stress test. We test every sensor. We test the microphones. We test the speakers. We test everything in this device. Our goal is really, as we go forward, to drive reliability of these things up to the point that, someday, hypothetically, if you ever have a Comma 7, the thing's never going to break. But the Comma 3 should be a good bit better than the Comma 2 on that front. So yeah, thank you, EPOT. Now, who knows what this slide is? What do you think's on it? 69,420, yeah. This is the price slide. $3,000? Nah, they start at $21.99. Double a comma 2, starting at $21.99. Now, there are 2 variants of it. So before you go on your phone and place your order right now, you may want to wait to hear what the other variant is. So yeah, these devices are not, it's not a pre-order. This is pictures from our factory this week. They're already in production, and the first ship date is Thursday. Now, if you want to be in on that first ship date, well, you want to buy the cross-country edition. The cross-country edition has 1 terabyte of storage. It's the high trim. So if you guys like that, like King Ranch F-150, it's like this is the cross-country edition. It comes with this sick-looking boot badge, and it ships first. So all orders are first in, first out, but there's a bit of a priority element to that. We fulfill all 1 terabyte orders, and then we start fulfilling the 250 gig, which is the $21.99 base model. This one's $27.99. So yeah, those are the 2 models. The site should be up right now. First in, first out. And this is the comma 3. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Really, I'm super impressed with the team that built this. We have really, the people on the comma team now, I mean, you saw some of them this morning. It gets harder and harder to beat us every day. I'm starting to think we're going to win. I'm starting to think, I was in an FSD beta. I'm starting to think we're going to beat them. I'm starting to think we're going to beat everybody. Yeah. There's a bunch of comma 3s in the back for you guys to actually go and check out and touch. Actually, I think I might have one right here. It comes in this beautiful stealth black box that it will ship in. So when it shows up on your doorstep, it doesn't say $21.99 on it. You can see the cross-country badge is included on the leaflet as well. This is the most complicated text we've ever shipped. It shows you how to mount it. And then, whoops, right under here, you'll see an actual comma 3 in the box. Yeah. In here, you'll find the accessories bag. Just get this open. I'm sure someone will do a much more beautiful unboxing of this device than I can. And you'll see the accessories bag here, which is what includes the harness if you order one, or if you don't order a harness, it's just the mounts, a bunch of stickers, adhesive, and this right angle cable. This bag doubles as a carrying case for the device. So if you do want to take it off your windshield, you can put it in this beautiful little microfiber cloth. So that's it. That's the comma 3. And now I think it's time for questions.
All right, guys. I picked the wrong day to wear shoes covered in spikes.
It's not my birthday.
All right. It begins. All right. We got a question up top first. Great.
Looks terrific, George. Congratulations to the whole comma team. My question is, are the harnesses the same for the comma 2 as they are for the comma 3?
Absolutely. If you have a comma 2, we even made a special video, Chris made a special video for upgrading from the 2 to the 3. It's super easy. It's the exact same harness, so all you need to buy is the device.
I will say that the site is now live,
Sweet.
and we will be shipping first in, first out. So
Cool.
now's your chance to get first in line. We got a question up there. Go for it. Yeah.
Hey, so in the business development options, there's something you didn't touch on that you had talked about before, and that is the potential for auto insurance.
That sounds so boring. What am I going to get up here and show you sexy pictures of auto insurance?
I recommend that the AI in comma AI stands for auto insurance.
I can't believe that's the first time we've heard that.
Listen. That's great, and they can do that. They're welcome to. They're welcome to play in our ecosystem. We're not going to tell them not to. But after we solve self-driving cars, let's solve home robotics and AGI. I don't know, insurance sounds boring. The Comma 3 it's a little head, kind of, you know? I'll take it out. It can be touched.
All right, I got a question back here, George.
You guys see the similarities? 2 eyes, 2 ears, a mouth, a USB port. What power goes in, right?
I got a question back here.
Hello, what are the biggest challenges with building a world-class team, and how do you and Comma overcome these challenges?
Basically, we do very little outreach, mostly reach in, and you can ask yourself this question. Do you want to scam for the rest of your life, or do you want to come here and actually build something? That's it. And people show up, and they want to build something. They got skills. They're motivated. Welcome to Comma.
Is there anything different about the cross-country edition other than the storage and the badge? Like, do you upgrade my car's warranty or?
I would, cross-country is also included right here. The cross-country edition has enough storage for an entire drive across the country. That's why it's named the cross-country edition, and it ships first. And yeah, the cross-country edition. They're both great. They're both a great choice.
Hello, I already ordered my Comma 3. Thank you.
Great.
Persuaded.
This is who funds our company.
So I'll preface this with I also think he's completely insufferable, but why so much shade for Elon?
What shade did I throw at Elon? Look, no, I actually have a lot of respect for Elon. No, I seriously do. Elon is a man who has a positive vision for the future, and that's what we need more of today. Elon can talk about the future in such a way that it's a future that I want to live in. So, we're just playing. You got to have a word of the adversary, right? If he's Sherlock Holmes, I'm Moriarty.
All right, we got a question upstairs.
But Moriarty respects, Mr. Holmes. Otherwise,
Hi, George.
Why play,
Hey, George.
What's up?
Nice product. What's the kind of benefit of having more storage, like practically speaking?
Oh, it just stores more stuff.
Like porn?
The driving performance is the same on both devices. You can choose which one you want to buy.
Yeah. Another question. Is there any trade-in program for existing users of some sorts?
Not yet. So we made...
I'm going to say never, but probably not.
Yeah, so, it's not like we have a warehouse full of thousands of these. We are building them as we speak. So, maybe someday if we have excess capacity, but they're kind of hard to make, and we make them, we test them, we reject all the ones that fail even one test. So, they're going to be probably fairly limited supply for a bit. Maybe after that changes, we'll see. Oh, with respect to the Comma 2. So we still have, I think it's 791 Comma 2s in stock. We're not going to stop selling them. The Comma 2 from today is going to be supported for 1 more year. So there's going to be 1 more year of Open Pilot updates. It's not going to get features like navigation Navigation's hard to make work on the Comma 2. The processor just doesn't have that much more power. But things like end-to-end longitudinal will likely come to the Comma 2 as well. No promises, but we're not going to artificially, things that are easy for us to make work on the Comma 2 will also work on the Comma 2. And there will be at least one more year of core OpenPilot software support.
Thanks. I got a question all the way in the back in the center.
What's up, George? Awesome product.
Thank you.
Is the C3, so is the storage replaceable and upgradable by the user?
Well,
I have some more in here.
yeah, we gotta go to the picture. Oh, these take, yeah. I will warn you that actually these drives, the reason we use the Samsung drives isn't just because I'm a nice guy. It's because most of them are egregiously bad at low power modes. So, I mean, you can change it, but when your device, kills your car battery, you can check it all. You can check it all. It's not as easy. It's not like, you have a desktop where power is effectively unlimited. So yeah, you do want to make sure that whatever drive you put in does work with low power modes. But that's a PCIe slot. You can put anything in there. We tested it with a Google Coral as well, if hypothetically we want to put an accelerator in there.
Great.
This is a question about the driver-facing camera and the sensor fusion stack.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the car frame is going to be possibly a factor that's invariant or not invariant across car designs. How do you intend to get around that when fusing the cameras?
So probably the same way we do everything, which is big data. As long as we have
So sorry.
As long as we have enough data from enough users, the models will become invariant to this. Maybe we'll rehash back to one of the things, how does a human do it? Right? It's not that big of a deal.
Let me just say, so I also already ordered my cross-country edition.
Woo!
My laptop right here. Do you see there being plans for some kind of Sentry mode way of with that expanded storage?
Next talk will kind of get into some of this stuff. So remember that every resource Comma puts on something that's not self-driving is a resource that's taken away from self-driving. So it's not high on our priority lists, but this stuff does still have to be usable. We have some cool announcements in the next talk.
Hey, George.
Yep.
Congratulations. And just wanted to ask you to touch on the boot time.
Oh, the boot time. Well, it's not, guys know I'm just a cheerleader, right? I'm just a guy who comes up and presents these. So, it's really congratulations to the team. The boot time is, it's been a while since I've used a Comma 2, but I think it's better. It's not too much better, and there's a lot more that we can do here that we couldn't do on the Comma 2. So, for example, the Comma 2 is a Leica with a locked, you can flash whatever kernel you want, but the bootloader is signed. There's no signing enabled on the Comma 3, so we can go all the way up the stack. And our goal is to get boot times down to 5 seconds. But that's not hardware, that's software. So it'll get better over time. I would say now it is at least as good as the Comma 2.
All right, I'm coming for you.
One of our things at Comma is always no regressions, no regressions, no regressions.
Yeah, so I was wondering about the, if you look into the commercial use case for this, because it seems like it would be very interesting for fleets. Mm-hmm. And also, given that it seems like people are asking the self-driving CEOs about crypto, I'd be much more interested to hear your thoughts than someone else's.
All right, so what was your first question? So it's limit 2 per customer right now due to limited supplies, but that will go away. I think we'll do the same sort of bulk discounts. Look, I'm not working with them, but can they buy them and use them? Absolutely. I'm not going to say no, right? You know what? One of the things that I really like, one of the things that during the PlayStation hacking, I would say stuff like, when I buy this PlayStation, it's mine to do whatever I want with. And I feel the exact same way about comma products, right? Like, if some fleet wants to buy them and use them, we're not going to tell you no. Nobody asks you what you're going to use it for. You might get banned from our servers if you make unsafe changes, but that's our servers, right? Your device is yours to do anything you want with, and I really believe in that. Yeah, can fleets buy them and use them? Absolutely. And what's my take on crypto? Oh, well. Pump, 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 pump. Pump, 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 pump. Die to $2. Tether to the floor, die to $2. Cheap ETH.
So on the business side, you kind of covered the U.S. market and the potential there, but I was kind of curious if you could share some on the European market or other markets in the world.
I'll ship it to any country that doesn't ban me or charge insane import taxes.
So you are in those markets and you see growth?
If someone from another country orders and pays the shipping charge and pays the import charge, again, I'm not going to say no. I'm not a no kind of guy. We don't track any of that. Okay.
All right. I guess I get to be the third to say I've ordered mine. So.
Cool. All right. Things are looking good for how many we ordered.
Yeah, so it runs Linux, so probably it could be used as a hotspot with great antennas. It sounds like that'd be nice in a car to have like good reception maybe or something.
Oh yeah, I mean the Comma 2 could be used as a hotspot too.
Right,
I think we have the same feature. Yeah. You can toggle tethering, it works. You can also, so our SIM is not that fast. The Comma Prime SIM is half megabyte. Cool. The upload is faster though, but it's supposed to be half megabyte symmetric, but it's actually like 1.3 if anyone benchmarked it. But that's a nice LTE modem. If you stick a real SIM in there and turn it on, yeah, it works great.
Sounds awesome. And are you also aware that you probably build a pretty great baseline? You're heckling VR a lot, but that's a pretty great baseline for kind of another case, and it'd be a nice VR device as well.
Yeah, VR has a bunch of challenges. I can talk about this stuff at length some other time. It's unclear what the beauty of the Comma 3 is when you buy it, when it gets to you, you're going to be able to use it to improve your life tomorrow, right? No waiting for anything. I mean, you guys use OpenPilot. If you like OpenPilot with the Comma 2, you're going to like it even more with the Comma 3.
So you said beautiful product and great presentation. You said something to the effect of level 2, the machine, you tell the machine what to do, and higher levels, the machine tells you what to do. Can you say more and maybe give us a glimpse into your roadmap?
Well, when you get in a Waymo and when you touch the steering wheel, it pulls over and locks you out.
They look so good.
Who owns that machine? I like owning the machine. In OpenPilot, when you take the wheel, you turn it. It's your wheel. You paid for it. Does that answer the question? I'm not sure what else there is. What is our roadmap? Get to superhuman as fast as we can. Win self-driving cars, right? I don't know. Look, if I was betting, I'd still probably bet on Tesla, but we'll be close.
All right.
Question on the navigation. So do you expect me to reach for the screen and just type it in there, or is it going to be through the app?
God, what, am I trying to build an OEM navigation experience?
Savage.
Yes, please scroll through each letter. No, go on your phone, type in the destination, and it goes over Prime, and it's sent to your device. It's real nice. We do have shortcuts that you can program in from your phone. You'll see more about this in the next presentation. But you think I'd design something terrible like that? I'm telling you, I use it. I want to use these things. I drive around that Hyundai Sonata with OpenPilot. I use the nav. I'm not using it if I'm typing in. Oh no, I hit the D. Oh.
My question is, does nav integrate with like auto lane change or suggested lane change?
Soon. So we need to gather the data first. So remember that the way Comma works is we gather the data from all our users, and then we use the data to train the models. So once there's a whole bunch of Comma 3s out there, all the Comma 3s will get better. And we put it this way. Navigate on OpenPilot is a simpler feature to build than end-to-end longitudinal. We know how to build it. I'll tell you guys. You see that nav screen? We racked our brain for a while about well, what's the API? Right? We have the Desire stack. You'll hear more about that. Desire is cool for things like lane changes, which aren't covered in nav. But for all the rest of it, well, we just asked the question, how do humans do it? Well, humans watch Waze, right? Or watch a nav system. So we're just going to take the picture from the nav system and shove it in a CovNet and put it into the model, and I think it's totally going to work. Why would it not, right? If a human can learn from that information, so can the machine. So navigate on OpenPilot is, look, I don't like being Elon and making predictions I can't keep, but I'm sorry, I'm ripping on Elon. You know I got a lot of respect for the guy. I don't even rip on, who's the COO? I don't even know, right? Oh, there's two, the co-CEOs. Yes, that's a great sign, guys. He's CEO. No, he's CEO. Oh, she, all right. That diversity is good. Yeah, I would say that there's an 80% likelihood that we ship Navigate on OpenPilot within the next year.
Okay, so you talk about how you want Comma to kind of become like an ecosystem, like Android is.
Sure.
You know, what products do you think are you excited to see, for the ecosystem as of now?
Yeah, so we're focused on the high end, and this is a decision that we had to make as a company. We talked about building lower end, cheaper devices, maybe the kind of like tiny device without a screen. And then again, you run into the same car insurance problem, which is like, that's kind of boring. Right? Like no one's gonna get up here and clap if we talk about the iPhone 5S or whatever it is, not the S. What's the, no, the SE, yeah, the SE. It's like, oh, and it's a little bit cheaper and it comes in 10 fruity colors. Like, while I don't personally want to build that, I would like to see those things exist, right? I'm very much a believer in like the big pie mentality of economics. So I would love to see people who are capable of, building and managing like large numbers of devices that maybe Comma right now can't do, kind of getting in on the low end. It's going to be hard for them to build a high-end device, right? Because they don't have, the high-end devices work great because they integrate really well with the software. You see this with Android. But there's some people who just want any kind of LCAS system, and they'll buy up the low end, right? And you see this exact same thing with Android. The Google Pixel is a high-end phone. The Motorola J7, well, it's $60, and it comes with a Boost Mobile, month, right? So like that's what I want to see from people in the Comma ecosystem. But hey, if people want to compete on the high end, I love that too, right? I just want to see all this stuff get better because self-driving cars are just the tip, right? Like self-driving cars are just the beginning of what all of this technology can allow. I want robots that clean my house and cook me food, right? It's the same tech.
We got a question up there.
Hello, George. Good to finally meet you in the flesh. Quick question. Can you touch on what the microphones are for in the Comma 3? I mean, can I use it for nav, or what are they going to do?
We put them in because it was easy. The Comma 2 has a microphone as well. We're not recording you. You guys can read the code. One of the first things that I'd like to ship with the microphone is something that adjusts the volume of the alerts based on the ambient noise level. Right, so we can use like a service to estimate how many, if you have loud music playing, the alert should be louder. If you're in a dead silent car like a Hyundai Sonata, the alert should be quieter. If you're in a Toyota Corolla, a little louder, right? Like so that's one of the first uses of the microphone. The voice nav stuff, again, the OEMs kind of try this, and while I think we could build something better than the OEMs, there's still nothing that compares to just copying the address in your phone. So they're there because the hardware would just feel incomplete without them.
Right on, thank you.
Got a question in the front?
Yeah, very excellent. I feel embarrassed to say that I own 2 Teslas that have already paid for full self-driving.
Well, they're nice cars. The software.
$14,000 spent on what I could have bought. But I saw in the thing on the website that you're offering this for the Tesla. Will it plug in? Because I've been waiting for full self-driving beta, and I'm wondering if I buy your device and plug it in and it works, maybe they'll send me the full self-driving beta.
Well, so Robo, who was up here earlier, has a Tesla. He's done a lot of the work pushing the Tesla port forward. There's a whole community of Tesla people too. Collude, Bugaiver, it's a lot of community stuff. So will it work? Yeah, you have to make one line change to the code. The reason the Tesla actually isn't under community supported features is we can't do the same kind of steering on the Tesla that we can on the other cars. It's very hard to make the Tesla steering wheel overrideable. It has that kind of Tesla feel where it's locked and then it disengages. We just don't think that's really an OpenPilot experience, but it's relatively easy to do this. We should sell the Tesla harness. Yeah, we should. You can do it, but it'll take a little bit of work now. It will get easier over time. Now remember that like also the stuff that's live now is not, I'm not selling anybody full self-driving. I'm selling this on the hardware specs, right? Like you're buying this for hardware specs. Don't expect it tomorrow to put this in your car and it's going to make a 90-degree turn. It's not. Right? I'm not even that interested in that. What I am a lot more interested in with this hardware, and the places where you're going to start to see disparities between the 2 and the 3 are things like trucks in the neighboring lane, like moving over for them. Right? The Comma 2 just can't see them. Another place you're going to see a disparity pretty soon, if you don't already, is detecting a far-off car at a stoplight in the distance. Right? The Comma 2 camera, it's the lens. It just does not have that much. Yeah. As soon as as soon as we sell like 1,000 of these devices and we start getting the data back from them, we're going to be able to train models that significantly outperform the Comma 2 just because the raw data is better.
Great. I think that's it. Any last questions? One more, Logan?
Could you speak a little bit more on the dynamic range of these cameras and their ability to see into like harsh lighting conditions and things like that?
It's a lot better than the Comma 2 and Tesla, I'll say that. Their AR0231, you can look up the data sheet of that sensor, multi-exposure, 120 dB. I think it's probably the highest dynamic range camera you can reasonably buy. There are some in pre-production that have a little bit more. It's not quite at the human eye level yet. But the human eye has absurd dynamic range. But it is the best thing on the market today for that, and it should be a big step up from the Comma 2. I think the human eye is like 150. This is 120. The 2 was 85. The Tesla's 95.
I think that's it. We did it.
Could be yours.